Hi, welcome to Fight the Fall. I'm Daniel, I'm a physical therapist assistant. So before we get started with everything, I wanted to kind of introduce my team, the physical family here, as well as the exercise coach family. We have been so happy to be in partnership and collaboration with them, just to collaboratively care for our clients. So there's so many times, in fact, why in part I became a physical therapist assistant is because I've had great physical therapy and strength conditioning and coaching. I've also had subpar physical therapy and strength conditioning coaching. And so to know that we have a great partner just down the sidewalk from us is so wonderful. And so I know a lot of you have come from there to come meet us here in our clinic, and I thank you for that. And so just kind of wanted to introduce everybody here. So Beth Hill, our owner. Hello, Beth. So if I can, since we're here for Fight the Fall, just kind of want to get a little input. Why is balance and fall awareness important to you? Why did you want to do this here?
Thank you, Daniel. I just wanted to throw something out because I am the owner here, but I had never been to physical therapy. I didn't know what physical therapy was, but when I learned about physical, I was just in awe of people like Christy and Daniel that treat people and what they do for people. So I was like, I have to be a part of this. So this has been quite the adventure in the last 20 months, trying to get in here and figure all this out. So super fun, but also why balance is important to me is my mother actually just recently moved from Colorado to Arizona, and she moved from a house with stairs to a house that does no stairs. And she just came to visit me, and she absolutely could not get up my stairs. She was like, Beth, I'm gonna fall over backwards. She was terrified. And I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta do something about this. I'm like, Daniel, you gotta give me the test. I need to go figure out how to do it for her, because it scares me, right, that she feels that way. So anyway, so that's why it's important to me. And thank you, and thank you all for coming. This is awesome. And thank you, Leo, and Kathy, and Zach. I'm like, I'm gonna forget his name. I want to call you Tom.
Can we call you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's not a bad ring, honestly. Christy Schneider, our doctor of physical therapy here at Physical. Hey, Christy.
Hello, thank you guys for coming. I've been a PT. I've been in the trenches with Beth since we opened this place up. But it's been wonderful, and it's been wonderful working with and getting to know the exercise coach team. I think what's really important, I see balance in so many different facets, right? I mean, I see it as fall prevention. I see it as you balance your body to help you kind of keep up your posture so that you can look around while you're walking. I also look at it just you're laying on the bed. You've got to be able to sit up. That's balance. And then to sit, to stand. That's another function of balance. Balance has so many different facets, and until you go through rehab, you don't realize how important it is. So I'd like to educate you guys tonight so that if you see anything, you can pull Daniel and I aside and say, oh my gosh, I do feel this when I go from sitting to standing, or when I'm laying down to sitting in my bed. What can I do to help me with this strength? Because a lot of it's just fine-tuning, nose over toes, giving you a few different cues to kind of help you find your balance again. And that's the key to fall prevention, is if you can stay strong, you keep your upright posture, it's amazing how you can see the world around you. So let us know if any of this resonates with you. How can we help you just keep your balance and keep you moving forward?
This is Gracie.
Hi. I do the marketing and all the front desk admin stuff, and balance is important to me. I actually got into this field because I got injured doing my sport, and I just realized how much it sucks to not be able to do the things you love. And so I think balance is something where, as either you age or just have injuries, because I already have way less balance in where I hurt myself, just being aware of that. And I know so many people that I'm close to that if I wasn't in a position where I could help them and I just saw them hurting, like that would make me really sad. And so I think it's important to bring awareness to falls and do what you can to help.
Thanks, Gracie. Zach.
Hi, my name's Zach. I've been a trainer over at the Exercise Coach for a little over a year now, and I mean balance. It's safety. It's having that strength to have your own posture and whatnot. And I see it as confidence too, because it gives you that confidence to go out and do the things that you love, like go walk the dogs, go hang out with the kids, the grandkids, whatnot, and still keep your life going on. So.
You can steal that, Kathy, don't worry. Take it back.
Enough to
Take it back.
Right up, Kathy. I work at the exercise coach as well. I've been there with Zach and Leo for over a year. And to me, balanced meat is freedom. So that you all, as we were saying, have the self-confidence to live, not to exist. So for me, it's having that, as we've seen with several of our clients, having the fear of doing certain things, or I want everybody, to have that self-confidence to be able to live and not just exist.
Absolutely. Mr. Leo.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Leo Rodriguez. I'm the owner of the Exercise Coach next door over here, and I'm proud to be here together with Physical here to give you this presentation here today. I come from this whole equation from the exercise strength perspective, and I can tell you all you want to know about exercise and strength, but unless you start from the bottom up where your balance begins, it doesn't make any sense. It's all foundational from the bottom up. So we'll talk more about strength later on. The focus is here going to be on balance, and you're talking to one of the most imbalanced people you've ever met. I learned a lot. In 3 visits here, you discovered something that went back 13 years ago and fixed it. So my hair off to this crew.
Thank you, Leo. I love that. And you said it, yeah. So, and that's part of what we'll talk about tonight, and why this partnership is so important, is that, yeah, you do have to kind of start from the ground up. There are a lot of people that they have injuries, or they have had a fall, or, whatever the case may be. Something happens and that they're not able to necessarily exercise and participate in activities the way that they once could or wanted to. And so that's kind of where we come in with physical therapy, is let's really pinpoint what's going on. Let's maybe kind of shine some light on things that we didn't even know were going on, that we can get you back to the exercise coach or to whatever your sport or your hobby might be, so that you can feel confident and happy and free. I love that. Why it's important to me, I have a 78-year-old mother who has fallen, and she is on the western slope, and that terrifies the heck out of me. I feel a little bit helpless, and so again, in part why being a physical therapist is important to me, is that I can instill some knowledge and some education on her, and to get her set up with some tools, so that, frankly, a little selfishly, I don't feel so scared for my mom's safety. But at the same time, I want her to live in her retirement. She's worked hard to provide for this idiot right here for a long time, and so she deserves to live happy in her retirement years and feel safe to go out and garden, which is her passion. She loves to spend time in the garden. I want to do that, enjoy it. So, and again, more on why falls matter, and some of these statistics, not to frighten or to scare, but to give some kind of stark information on kind of what's going on. And so some key stats related to falling. Right now, 1 in 4 adults age 65 plus fall each year. Less than half, however, report it to their physicians. There's certainly some fear, there's some embarrassment, there's a leveling of one's pride. If you have a fall, well, we don't want to admit that, and then we don't want to admit that we have certain maladies. It's scary. That's a big piece. Every 11 seconds, an older adult is treated in the ER for a fall. Every 19 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall-related injury. Yes, that is a stark truth, and again, not to scare, but to inform. Like, this is just the reality of things and why we do what we do. Falls are the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries in older adults. That's why this month in particular nationwide is so massively important. We want to make sure that we're all doing our part to get education and opportunity for success and strengthening and confidence. Now, after a fall, 50% of older adults do tend to, again, like I said, develop that fear, and the fear of falling again. This can compound and reduce activity, further deconditioning of muscles, increase in the future fall risk potential. And so, if you've fallen, or you know somebody who's fallen, even for myself, a reasonably young guy, athletic and all that, I get pretty sketched out when I go on the ice, or if I wake up in the early morning and there's snow on the ground. I'm like, well, I've fallen on this, that didn't feel good, and even I have some fear, and so there's strategies that we want to utilize, especially in our climate here. And that's why we're doing this tonight. We want to break the cycle of that fear and instill confidence in folks. Kind of the real impact with fall and fall strategy awareness and the most common outcomes of a fall. So again, that loss of independence. When you fall, or the fear of losing your independence, going to a nursing home or assisted living facility, that's scary for somebody who's lived on their own and been a confident, successful adult their whole life, and then something hits them and they're like, ooh, I might lose that confidence, I might lose that ability, and my life is going to rapidly change. That's scary. That's something that we want to be able to combat as much as we possibly can. Now, there's also the intensification of chronic pain symptoms. There's things like fractures, foosh. You reach out when you fall, you break your wrist, your hip, your ankle, your pelvis, your spine. And the financial impact. It's massively expensive to fall, hurt yourself. You might have medical bills, or you might have a whole litany of things that you have to spend money that you didn't plan on spending, especially if you're on a fixed income. That's hard to deal with. And then obviously with that lack of confidence, that fear of falling, we can develop comorbidities. So things like obesity or deconditioning of musculature, which is why the exercise coach is so important, really honing in on maintaining that muscle. And with that strengthening, we want to fight osteoporosis as well. That's a big piece of strength training and what physical therapy can get you back to in your strength training regimen. The psychology, the fear of falling often leads to social withdrawal as well, and depression, inactivity. That's the tough part, the psychological part. Once you've lost confidence in yourself and confidence in your ability to function safely, that can really do a number on our psyche. That's a big piece of this, and that's a big element of what we bring to the table here at Physical and at the Exercise Coach, is that you're not just a client, you're a human being. And that's the most important part to me about being a physical therapist assistant, is that I want to treat you like a human. You're not just another number to me. I want to get to know you. We want to get to know you. We want to be part of your family, your life, right? It's important so that if you are feeling those signs of depression are starting to crop up, you have anxiety, you have fear, we're here to support you for that. Some of the main causes of falls, and a common misnomer, falls are not an inevitable part of normal aging. Like, just because we're aging doesn't mean we're going to fall. They are often the result of several risk factors that compound over time. Some of them we can control, some we can manage, right? So the physical factors, muscle strength, flexibility, balance impairments, so vertigo, dizziness, foot problems, where our bodies change over time. So what's going on with our feet is a big piece of the puzzle that we're gonna start to analyze and see, okay, do you need an orthotic? Do you need new shoes? Is there physiological changes happening in your anatomy? Are you getting dropped arches? Things of that nature, nerve issues. Then of course you have the medical and medication factors. So chronic conditions, medication side effects, illness, hospitalization. We've had quite a lot of patients come in where they get put on new blood pressure medicine, and that causes dizziness or whatever the case may be, and then whoop, there we go, we get some falls. And so these are all these pieces. If you are part of our family, we want to know what has changed in your medication, what is different that we can help you kind of navigate so you're feeling confident. Then of course environmental factors, which we'll talk more about, home hazards, poor lighting, and proper use of assistive devices like canes, walkers. So many times I see people come in here and they're using a walker or they're using a cane, but nobody taught them how to use it. It seems simple enough, but if you had to ever use one size does not fit all. You really need to be trained on how to use this effectively. That's a big piece of what we start off with. We give you these basic cornerstones of knowledge so that you can eventually get off that assistive device if possible, but certainly know how to utilize it safely. Now, PT and why we're partnering with the Exercise Coach, PT and exercise play a huge and important role in identifying personal risk factors and strengthening our bodies so patients can move confidently and safely. That's exactly why we're here tonight, to kind of address those pieces and answer any questions along the way. And so again, we'll have a Q&A. If you have any particular questions, please do let us know. So let's talk about prevention. So there are various preventative measures. So non-treatment solutions. Most falls are preventable. Fall prevention doesn't necessarily require a complete overhaul. Just because you've fallen or you have a fear of falling doesn't mean we have to start from the very, very beginning. We can start tinkering. We kind of look at what's going on, things like your gait. So, and what's going on in your home. Simple stuff that we might not even think about. We become sort of blind to our homes. We don't realize maybe we have stuff that's a trip hazard. You know, loose rugs, electrical cords, clutter in our walkways because we really like to accessorize our homes. Well, maybe we need to de-accessorize, things like that. My mom is definitely guilty of that when I've had to retrofit her house just a little bit for safety reasons, but which she didn't like that much, but that's okay, she's safe. Judy's very particular. But other things like improved lighting. Like, it's nice to have ambiance, for sure, we can do that, but at the same time, if it's a hazard, if you can't see what's going on in front of you, especially at night when you have super low lighting, well, that's something we might want to talk about fixing. Or installing dimmer switches so you have the ability, if you wanted to, still maintain normalcy, but be able to have full lighting if you need to. It seems simple, but oftentimes people don't even think about this stuff. It seems superfluous. It's truly not. It's really important. Non-slip surfaces. And mats, especially in kitchens and bathroom settings. I myself have slipped so many times on my stupid, crappy rug in my bathroom until I was like, why? I should put some sticky stuff on the bottom of this. And as a matter of fact, it worked quite well, and I no longer slip around on my bathroom mat. Seems simple, but these are those things that we want to remind people of. We're like, did you think of this? Did you think of this? Let's start to make some amendments to your normal way of life so that you're safe. Again, other simple fixes, and we have a ton of handymen and so forth that come and install things like grab bars in your showers and near the toilets, handrails on both sides of the stairs. It's, you know, and when, especially when people are on a fixed income, adding things like that into their budget, that it seems like a lot. And so if we strategize and we make a list of, okay, what do we need to do to kind of retrofit your home just a little bit? Let's talk it all through and see, okay, what's feasible? What's something that we want to maybe save for or find the best opportunity to save the most money to install? You know, a lot of times we get in our own ways, thinking that we don't necessarily have a solution to the problem at hand, or we just can't afford it, or we can't do it, we don't want to do it. We're here to kind of sort of handhold a little bit and help you kind of through that process so you can kind of contextualize how that fits into your life. Other important things, so we do partner with Dardanos, and they are a great outlet for footwear and mobility aids. So finding the right shoes, pretty simple. Also finding the right shoe support. So what I love about Dardanos is they have this cool little machine that you go in, they'll have a stand on it, and it measures the pressure points on your feet. Pretty straightforward, it's really neat. And so they get a nice printout of, okay, where's all the pressure points? Where's your arch support? What do you need out of an insole that is gonna provide you the best possible support in your shoe? And then they'll take you through and sort of lays through the process of, okay, what kind of shoes would give me the best support? Do I have a fallen arch? Do I have super high arches? Do I have supination, pronation? Things like these that it's almost impossible to figure out on our own without relying on somebody who has that expertise. And so that's why I love them so much, is because they make it simple. You go on, you say, here's what's going on. And that's something where we write you a script so you can go over there. We put all the basics of what's going on with your feet and your footwear needs and insole needs. So they take good care of you. That oftentimes is such a massive piece of the puzzle that people don't even necessarily think about. Or they don't know, they're kind of intimidated to go explore. Shoes are too expensive, or they don't kind of know what to look for. I want to simplify things for people, make it something that's attainable for them. I want to get all the potential roadblocks out of the way so people can kind of find a way to help themselves. Mobility aids, so canes, walkers, grabbers, like I talked about before. part of what we do at PT is we decide, okay, what if you don't currently use one, is there a need for one? Right, so let's assess your gait. Let's see where your balance is. We'll do a fall risk assessment, a balance assessment, a strength assessment, and see, would you do well with walking sticks? Would you do well with a single point cane? Do you need a 4-wheel walker or a 2-wheel walker? Is that something, do you need a couple of them? One on your upper level of your home, one on the base level of your home. There's a myriad of different factors that we can kind of consider and just kind of lay it out on a silver palette for you guys to make the decision of, okay, well, you said I need this, let me try it. That way the thinking is completely taken care of. That's the biggest part, and certainly I mentioned my mom again because she's got the fear, and she's like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I do, let me help you out. And that's what we're here for. We're here to answer these questions that you might not even ever asked. So, PT, and so again, kind of what else we offer. So we're not just trying to help, of course, after a fall, if we have that fear, we have that weakness, you've already had a fall, and even regardless of age, Grace, she mentioned about her jiu-jitsu injury, she tore her ACL. Well, after you tear your ACL, yeah, you're probably a little bit afraid of falling, and so that's a piece of that post-fall or post-injury, but it's also like, how do we prevent that? If you have a fear, now we do these fall risk assessments where we kind of see, okay, where's your balance? Where is your overall proprioception? And are you at potential risk? And if so, what kind of elements through physical therapy and then through exercise and strength conditioning training can we add to your life to make sure that we can combat that fear that you might have of falling? The fall risk assessments are something that we always offer. We are really pushing them this month, and we have had quite a few people come through to take advantage of them. The SAFE Act was enacted years back here in the United States, specifically so that professionals like us, physical therapists, occupational therapists, can do assessments of your overall balance and proprioception to make sure that you know what's going on with your body. It shouldn't have to cost you money to have a professional tell you if you are at risk for a fall. And that's something that anybody, either yourselves or somebody you know, can always come in. We'll make sure we get you on the schedule, and we'll take good care of you and give you an idea of where's your body at? Is there a need? Can we help you achieve a goal? Or are you in pretty darn good shape and you just thought you might have a need? We'll help you through that process. As far as individualized treatment care plans, that's obviously something that if you are part of the exercise coach, that's something they do as well. And so going through, they have specific plans for each of you depending on your strength ability, right? And what we're looking to incorporate as far as strength and conditioning training. That's a piece of what we do as well. And so we want to really kind of pick apart what's going on with your body, what's going on with your joints, what's going on with your nervous system, what's going on with your vestibular system, so your inner ear, your somatosensory. Can you sense where you are in space, your proprioception? And then we set a plan of care. And so kind of what it looks like here in PT, you'd come in, you'd meet Dr. Christie, she'd go through an hour-long initial evaluation with you and do a bunch of tests and measures to see kind of where your body's at. And then either her or myself will take you through that plan of care with progressive overload. And so with the goal of continually each week trying to add new elements to continue improving your overall ability. The vestibular rehab and the balance rehab is a big thing that we do here at Physical nationwide. There are almost 600 physicals nationwide, and that's kind of been the niche, the claim to fame is that if you have vertigo symptoms, if you have inner ear vestibular issues, if you have cerebellar, so you have brain activity that your brain isn't necessarily communicating with your body and your balance is interrupted because of that. That's kind of what we specialize in, amongst other things, but that's a big piece of what we do. And so we have a ton of different options as far as how we take you through that protocol, depending on where your symptoms lie. Now, a lot of people with that vertigo, that's been honestly pretty prevalent in the past year. We've been seeing a lot of vertigo cases, whether you, so vertigo, right? So BPPV, sometimes people will maybe get in a car accident, or they will take a fall and they hit their head. We have these little crystals in our inner ear called canaliths, and they will basically kind of fall out of the inner ear into the semicircular canals in your ear and drive you absolutely berserk. And you can be standing perfectly still and it makes you feel wildly dizzy. And some of you may have experienced that or heard of that. If you've had that, or you know somebody who's had it, it is the worst. It is totally debilitating. It is really, really scary. And so part of what we do is we go through, we assess, okay, where could that little crystal be in your ear? How do we'll literally go through different maneuvers and move your body around to try to get those crystals back into place, as well as teach you habituation training. So getting used to that dizziness and acclimating to that dizziness so our bodies can adapt to it. It's one of the most beautiful things about being a human being is that we adapt so wildly well. Now we can also adapt negatively, but we can adapt positively as well. And so if we can get used to some of those vertigo symptoms, they become less and less prevalent and way easier to cope with and less terrifying and debilitating. Hi, good morning. So, as far as confidence, education, ongoing prevention, one of the most important benefits is restoring your confidence. We've talked about that already. Confidence in your ability to move, expanding your knowledge of healthy aging, and providing you with resources that combat falls outside of treatment. So obviously at some point we'll get you confident and get your strength up to feel safe to be out in public. We want to arm you with facts and some ways to combat potential falls. What are we doing? What kind of strategies? What is our body just naturally doing? We're retraining. It's called neuro re-education. So we're literally retraining the way that our body responds to potential dizziness or to a misstep or how we walk on slippery surfaces like ice or snow. And so that is a huge piece of what we have added into our treatment protocol for balance. I'm going to invite Bella up. She is a collaborative client, and she offered to share some of her experience with us. And then I'll open this up to an open forum question and answer. And I want to go through a couple different exercises, show you some of the things that we do, just some foundational things that are a part of balance, posture training, and so forth. And then we can hang out and eat more cake pops. Bella, come on.
Well, I'm just going to tell you a little story about how I got here, okay? So I've been going to the exercise coach for probably about a year. And, but about 6 weeks, 2 months ago, something was going on with my leg, and I was limping at work, and I tried to call and cancel an appointment, and I couldn't get hold of anybody. So I thought, well, on my way home, I'll just stop and tell them I'm not coming. And I did that, and I was getting ready to leave, and Leo comes in. And he said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong with my leg, but I'm not gonna exercise today." And he said, "Come with me." And he literally walked me down here and introduced me to Christy and Grace. And I didn't, essentially it took me 4 or 5 days to get an appointment with Christy and for Grace to get my insurance. But it was a moment that changed everything. And so I love the fact that my leg doesn't hurt anymore. It was a tight IT band, and she worked. And I might pronounce it wrong, but I think it's a psoas muscle. And I mean, I thought she was going to press all the way to my back, but it released this. She worked on the left side, but it released the right side. And then she gave me some targeted exercises to do for it. And to not have that pain. Thank you. So, it made me, in doing that, it made me realize, 2 or 3 years ago, I had gone to, my daughter is in alternative healthcare, but she's in California. And she's been telling, Mom, you're getting old, and you need to start lifting weights because you're losing muscle. And so I worked with a trainer, I don't know, a couple of years. And then I also had another PT, but they weren't talking to each other. And so this is what makes it so nice, is that I have a team. Daniel actually went down, he said, when I had the leg problem, he said, let me walk you down there. Let me look at all the exercises you're doing. Let me make sure that you're not using something that's gonna promote it coming back. So he took away one of the exercises, and he said, you can go back to it after your leg gets stronger. So that I loved. So it made me realize that, I had a fear when this was going on, that if I exercised, I was gonna make it worse. So having Daniel go down there and help me gave me the confidence that, and it released the fear that I was gonna do something wrong. So, and then I don't believe in doctors, okay? I know you need them sometimes, but I don't believe in them. So, because you go to them and you're either gonna get surgery or you're gonna get a prescription. And it's like one size fits all. And none of us are the same. And that's what Christy told me when I first came. She said, I need to think about this, because you need to tell me all the things that are going on with you. And then she comes up with a program for you, which I love. So now I have a team. And so I guess what I'd like to share with you is don't settle for one size fits all. Your health journey is unique, and I'm just gonna read what I wrote. You deserve a team that believes in your uniqueness, that sees your potential, that helps you move beyond pain through strength and confidence. And because you have the right support, healing is not just possible, it's transformational. So, yeah.
Don't make me cry. He's supposed to be a tough guy. Thank you, Bella.
You're welcome. Well, thank y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
And Leo.
Yes. Well done, Bella. Guys, thank you so much. What questions do you guys have for me or any of us here, if any?
What's direct access?
Haha, hilarious. Great question, Beth. So if you didn't know, Colorado and 50 states in the United States are direct access states as of 2015, meaning that you do not need a referral for physical therapy. All you have to do is come in and talk to us or call us. It's a common misnomer because we're so used to, we need to go to our primary care, we need to get a referral for a specialist. That is not the case for physical therapy. You do not need that. You don't need it at all, regardless of your insurance. We just get you with Ms. Gracie here. She looks up your insurance, gets you set up, and gets you on the books. Real simple. It puts your own health in your own hands. You have agency over your own health care in that regard. That is something, and thank you, Beth, for the reminder there. It's so important to spread that word because we're all used to it being the exact opposite, aren't we? So spread the word. Let people know.
Did you take Medicare?
Pardon?
Did you take Medicare?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid.
Yes, I do Medicare.
Yep, absolutely. So you bet.
I think 90% of us are.
for sure. Come on, come on. You betcha. Absolutely. Any other burning questions before I make us move a little bit? Okay. If anybody does have any questions, if you wanted to refer back to, we are taking a video, thanks to You?
It actually was
Nolene?
running. I made a mistake, it was running.
Oh, is it still running?
It is.
Outstanding. Fantastic. So we will have this video on our YouTube page, as well as a link to the exercise coach. You can kind of go in. If you haven't been to the exercise coach, I know a lot of you have, or if you wanted to link this video to friends or family to show them this presentation, to also show them the tour Zach did around the exercise coach, to familiarize them with the machines there, that will be posted on our YouTube, and we will have a QR code available for that.
Yes, the YouTube QR code is right on the back of this. And in the next week, I'll have a video uploaded about the equipment at the exercise coach that helps with balance, as well as the video of this presentation. And we're also going to try to send out the slideshow.
Perfect. We do also have another video up there. We did a, last month or the month prior, 6 weeks ago, we did a knee workshop. And so if you have any questions, or if you have knee pain or know somebody who has knee pain, is absolutely something that that presentation will help with. Or if you have questions, just come and holler at us. Yes, ma'am.
I know Loretta has this burning question. She wants to know what that big black machine is.
Oh, Loretta. Oh, Loretta, I'm so glad you asked.
That's
So, two things. So all of you guys got your raffle tickets, yes? Okay, so there are two prizes that we will be handing out, one of which is a grab bag from the exercise coach with some protein powder to keep your muscles strong after they make them really tired. Now, we also have this wonderful new machine here. It's called a Class 4 laser. It is new to our clinic, and it is a wonderful piece of technology. So what Class 4 laser is, it is ultra-red and red light therapy, or near ultra-red and red light therapy that excites your cells on the mitochondrial level. So it doesn't cause vasodilation, oxygen production, and an excitatory response at the cellular level, so that your body stays in a proliferation and regenerative mode. Really, we like people to do, if we're doing a specific treatment, we'll talk to you about it, but we'd like, we offer packages, we offer a la carte, and so an amazing piece of technology. If you're having soft tissue pain, if you have a wound that just won't heal, or somebody who has diabetic neuropathy, really, really beneficial. That's why we invested in this machine, and we are raffling off a free session with this. And so if you are the winner, come check this out and see what it's all about. We'll zot you on your pain spots and make them feel better.
How often do you have to, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't even raise my hand. Go ahead.
How often do you have to have it done for it to show effect?
That is a wonderful question. Now, though it is on a case-by-case basis, some people find that there is instantaneous relief. It very much depends on the level of pain, where the pain is, how your body responds to that particular stimulus. Why we sell packages is because ideally you want to do a 3-week stint. Now, depending on diabetic neuropathy or more chronic nerve issues, take a little bit longer, but generally we like to set you up on 2 to 3 times a week for about 3 weeks, so a 10-pack, and that keeps you in that proliferation mode for that entire process, so your body continues to churn, and regenerate cells for healing nonstop for that period of time. Now, that said, we also have maintenance packages, or you can come in a la carte once or twice a month, where you're like, just want to make sure I'm hitting that spot on my lumbar that has been continually bugging me. It still feels okay, but I want to make sure. That's absolutely why we offer that a la carte option as well.
And could that include 2 different body parts too?
Yes, so they're 20-minute sessions.
Okay.
Now, depending on the body part, depending on the size, is going to kind of dictate how much of that time we'll need to do. So if we're doing your entire quad and hamstring, well, that's going to be the whole 20 minutes on that.
Right.
But if we're doing like 2 shoulders and your neck, well, we can do that in the course of that 20-minute session. So we can talk more about any individual body parts or things like that. And it may be, oftentimes we want to, if it's a larger part, well, let's really address the more problematic area first. and then we'll kind of go down the line and keep fixing you.
Daniel, is there anybody, excuse me, who this would not be for? If someone has a pacemaker? or
Yes,
like that?
absolutely. Excellent questions. You guys are keeping me honest. So yes, we do have there is a liability form you need to sign, and just to make sure, cancer is a no-go because it does start cellular proliferation. That's the opposite of what you want if you've got cancer. If you have a pacemaker, it's okay, just not around the pacemaker itself. If you are on any photosensitive medications, if you're on like an amoxicillin, things like that, or doxycycline, things of that nature, we have a whole laundry list of medications and symptoms. If you're pregnant, absolutely don't want to do that. If you're pregnant, certainly not on the baby. But we'll make sure that we let you know exactly what that list entails, and so we can make good and sure that you are a strong candidate for this treatment. So just to make sure you're safe. Your question was about insurance. Insurance does not cover it. We are currently trying to find out if there's like workers' comp, if that's a thing that we're delving into now. But as of right now, insurance does not cover it, and so this is a cash pay service. Now, if you are coming here to do physical therapy, and you're using insurance for physical therapy, awesome, that's great. That'll be covered by your insurance, minus your copay, if you have a copay. This would not, and so we'd add this to your plan of care for whatever you come into physical therapy for. It would just be a cash pay service for that package to add that on to your treatment. Is that one question? Did I answer?
But I don't think Medicare covers.
No insurance is going to cover it. That would be too cool. They don't play that game. Yes. It is remarkable. We've gotten a ton of excellent feedback. I actually started in veterinary care, which is really interesting. I thought that was fascinating because, well, what can animals do? They can't talk back. And so all of the information is anecdotal. We're looking at this animal and how they are behaving, how they're ambulating, if their pain is gone, if there's a change in their gait pattern any longer. And it has been wildly efficacious, works so well. And so obviously no brainer, we're just made up of the same cells, blood and bones and tendons, why not for humans? And so has played a big role in chiropractic care and now in physical therapy as well. And we're the only physical therapist in the area who has one, which is pretty neat. Tell your friends. We're super cool. All right. If there's no other questions, I want to do just a little bit of movement. So some basic stuff. So when we're talking about balance, switch over my little slide here. So we're all going to try this maneuver you see here. Everybody ready? Now. And just kidding. Obviously, I could never do this. That would be a travesty. So posture is a huge thing. If some of you have worked with me in this clinic already, I'm going to harp on posture, aren't I, Janet? Yes. So part of what we see, right? And all of us, I know a lot of us are on our phones, we're on our computers, we're reading books, our heads are down like this, our shoulders are sloped like this. We're starting, especially as we age, we start to do this number. And certainly with fatigue or with chronic pain, we're going to have changes in posture. So that's the first thing that I'm going to start on. And that's one of the most important things. If we're having trouble with our balance, well, of course, we're going to have more trouble if we're already halfway fallen over when we're here. And so it seems simple, but if you've tried to control your posture, you know it's really hard to be cognizant of that at all times, isn't it? And so some simple measures, the trifecta. So we start with the head. So everybody with me, we're about to look like chickens. Everybody's going to look really stupid for a second, so get used to it. It's going to be fine. So solidarity, guys. So the chicken head, right? And so we're going like this. So we're going all the way forward with our head. Now we're all the way back, like we're making a big fat double chin, and we come off it just a little bit. That's cervical neutral. That's where our neck wants to be. Oftentimes we're down here, our neck is actually, even though it's coming forward, in extension, and that creates a lot of tension. You have a lot of neck pain, you have trap pain, it hurts, you start getting chronic headaches, nightmare. But also when we're here, there's also going to be some vestibular elements of that where maybe we have a little bit of blood flow that starts to get cut off. maybe our nervous system starts to get impeded upon a little bit, but also when our neck is down like this, our shoulders will follow. So a nice little check-in, just a simple new move. We go here and come back and come off at about 1/4 of an inch. That's your cervical neutral. I do this in the gym every time before I do an exercise, before I do a set. People probably think I'm a crazy person, and they're probably accurate. They're right, I am. But my spine's healthier for it, and so I'm happy. Now the next piece. So here, we want a big, wide chest. We're opening up. I call this the Celine Dion, my heart will go on, right? This is a big moment on stage, this solo, right? So what we're doing is we are opening up our chest. We're straightening out our back, so instead of being rolled forward, we're coming back, externally rotating our shoulders, and almost like we're trying to pinch a pencil between our shoulder blades along our spine. So, got our neck back, shoulders out, pinching that pencil between our spine. Now when we have that nice and retracted, relax your arms now, but keep those shoulders retracted. That's thoracic neutral. That's what we want to keep. Yes, sir.
Do you want to try to pinch your shoulders downward too?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's excellent. Thank you, Zach. Yes, 100%. So part of what Zach's talking about. So when we come back like this, oftentimes you'll see a lot of people who they'll pinch their shoulder blades, but they're also shoulders are up in their ears like this. That's not going to help. So really kind of coming down, and almost like Zach said, we're wanting to pull back and down with those shoulder blades. Next part is the pelvis. The pelvis is huge. Now, a funny maneuver, but if you've ever done like a hip thrust machine at the gym, or if you are into Latin dance, you can move your hips a little bit. So we want to be cognizant of where our pelvic positioning is for our lumbar spine health. I'm sure everybody in this room has had lumbar pain at some point in time, but a lot of times it's because we have this anterior, so forward tilt in our pelvis. That makes our lumbar spine really curved, and we're just cranking on it. So the muscles are super tight, and they stay tight. That's why we start getting those knots, and we just can't undo that pain. So in order to alleviate some of that crank on our lower back, we tuck our tail. So we're tucking our tail down. So it's almost like you have a fishing line at the end of your tailbone, and it's got a little weight on it, pulling it down. Those three things all together, where you're sitting in your chair, you're sitting in your car, which is notorious for making our bodies hurt, whether you are standing, when you're walking, whatever you're doing, if you're exercising, finding that pelvic neutral, that thoracic neutral, and that cervical neutral all together, that's going to put you in the safest possible position so that A, your spine is going to be healthy, but B, you have upright posture so that you are not bending forward. You can reach, you can grab, you can mind your balance.
Weights.
Hey, you can lift.
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. Exactly.
Coach people, we stress this all the time, right?
100%. Yeah, exactly. The next piece, feet. So wide foot stance. Now, feels a little bit strange. All of this stuff, if you haven't honed in on your posture control, you're going to be doing all these things that I said, getting a wide foot stance, and you're going to feel like you look really stupid, and you might feel really awkward. Yeah, for sure, because we've been walking with weird posture for a long time. It's going to feel peculiar for a while until you get accustomed to it. But what did I say? We adapt really well as human beings. We'll adapt to it, and it's not going to feel so stark. It's not going to feel so foreign after a while. That's just our norm, and we don't look like we're really working hard at it. We're just kind of smooth with it. It just takes a little bit of time. Now for a while, I have terrible posture in my thoracic spine. And so every hour for about 2 weeks, I put a timer on my iPhone that said posture. Was it wildly irritating? Yes. Was it super effective? Yes. Do I still have poor posture from time to time? Yes. I'm not asking anybody to be perfect. I'm certainly not perfect either. But little measures like that are super beneficial so that we can start to kind of help ourselves remember. So if you're keen with your phone, make a reminder on your phone. If you're good with sticky notes, start putting sticky notes in places, whatever works for you. If you got a way better memory and you're more compliant than me, then you'll just remember it really well. But that's a big piece of it, along with that wide foot stance. And so I'm kind of going to pair that with this bottom portion. So walking. right? So walking with good posture, that's oftentimes, right, we lose our balance, we start to fall whilst walking or getting up from sitting to standing. So pairing those two things together, that good upper body posture and a little bit wider foot stance, a lot of people, we find that you're here, your feet are really close together or they're offset. It's just, we all have weird posture in our feet, not everybody, but certainly is a commonality that I see in and out in this clinic. And so really trying to be mindful of kind of keeping, even if you're just standing there, but certainly when you start to walk, keeping shoulder width. That way you have a wider base of support. And so that if you start to lose your balance, well, you're already ahead of the game. If you're here, kind of think of it like a redwood tree, right, Leo? So redwood tree, big giant tree in Yosemite, right? So they're huge, they're wide, they grow super tall because they can. They have these massive wide bases of support, and so they can withstand any movement. You see a little aspen sapling, he's a little tiny guy and he can get whisked over by the wind. Stupid analogy, but to me it makes sense, right? If we have a wider base of support, we stand a much better chance of maintaining our balance and our safety. Now when we're walking, Bella, you wanna come help me out? Okay, give it up one more time for Bella, everybody. Okay, so, okay, so as we're walking, so wide foot stance, right? So let's do that chicken head, get that neck back, there we go. Big back shoulders and down. Let's get a little bit of a pelvic tuck there, they're good. I'm actually happy with the pelvic position now. When we're walking, a big piece is what our feet are doing, especially if you have neuropathy or if you have issues with strength. Sometimes we'll have that foot drag, right? And our foot likes to catch. That happens with my mom. That's a big concern. And so really focusing on what we're doing with our feet. So as we're walking, Bella, what I want you to do is you start walking, I really want you to focus on maintaining that same width of your feet. And I want you to walk heel to toe.
Oh, goodness.
Heel to toe.
That's
Good.
weird. That's
yeah,
weird.
it's weird, right? So, good. It's, let me say, to her credit, it's way harder to do going slow. And if you've trained with me, you know that I'm gonna make you do it slow and fast, right? And so when you're going fast, it's a little bit easier, but the whole idea is that if we're going heel to toe, well, in order to hit your heel, you gotta get your foot up off the ground. So that already gets you set up for that. So one more time, Ms. Bella, a little bit faster for me now, heel to toe.
That's way better.
That's easier, right?
Yeah.
Now it looks good. And so we're getting, and it does, right? It feels really peculiar, like I said. Like until you get kind of accustomed to it, it's gonna feel a little wonky. That's okay. It's gonna feel weird. Get used to that. Get comfortable with being a little bit uncomfortable. You'll find that over not that long of a time, your posture will be better. You'll feel safer. You'll have more stability in your feet. And you'll be clipping along. Like once it becomes more commonplace, you'd be surprised how much faster you can walk as well, because you feel safer. You have that confidence reinstilled into you. Thank you, Bella. Great job. So a couple other things, I'll shut the heck up. So some other pieces, so lower body using chairs for support. And so some of the basic stuff we do, so sitting to standing, oftentimes is one of the tougher things that we see people struggle with. It's tough, right? If you have lower body strength deficit, that's gonna be hard. If you have nerve problems, that's gonna be hard. If you have chronic pain, that's gonna be hard. But we want to start that process. And so sitting to standing with good body mechanics is a great place to start. Even if you can't fully stand up, if you can sort of load onto your heels as you're standing. So for example, is there a chair?
Yeah, right
Miss
there.
Steele? Here, let me see that chair there.
What?
Okay. All right, everybody. Here we go. So, what we're gonna do, so proper sit to stand. If you have issues going from sitting to standing and you feel unsafe doing this exercise, that's all right. I've got an option for you too. If you feel unsafe at all trying this exercise, don't do it with us just yet. So, first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna scoot up at the edge of our chair just a little bit, right? Kind of get prepared. Now we want to put our feet back just a little bit and that wide base of support, right? So in putting our feet back, it's not called a stand forward, it's called a stand up. And so that's why we want our foot back forward, or back just a little bit so that we're not so far out. We're not trying to lunge forward here, we're trying to lunge up. And so as we're standing, if you need to use your hands to press off on your thighs, you certainly can do. Ideally though, the point is to get you to the point where you can stand without any kind of hand support at all. Now, a big thing that I want you guys to focus on when we stand, I want you pushing through your heels. That's a common thing that I see people trying to push through their toes. That actually is kind of the weakest position for our legs. If we're pushing through our heels, we can actually use the whole of our quadricep muscles, which are so much stronger than pushing through our toes, which really kind of incorporates more of that patellar tendon and that quad tendon, makes it a little bit tougher. So we've come to the edge of our chair. Our feet are a little bit back, wide foot stance. And now as you stand, if you need to get a little bit of momentum to stand, you can. And as we stand, we're gonna push through our heels. Here we go, and push through the heels, right? Automatically, when you're here, you're already in a wide foot stance. You've already engaged your legs, they're right underneath you. That's the first thing that we're gonna start training. Now, good job, well done. Now, here's the thing. You can all sit, thank you very much. So, if you can't, if this is like, man, I simply can't do that right now. My strength isn't there yet. That's quite all right. And so part of what we do, we'll start you on our high load table where we bring it up a little bit higher and you have the opportunity to start a little bit higher and then start in baby steps. So you're really just kind of rocking forward and finding that form, finding that momentum, getting some confidence. And slowly we start getting more strength. We get the form right. And then we can start lowering you down a little bit. Meanwhile, another option, if you're just getting familiar with it, even if you can't stand at a seat at your home, you can still do the loading portion of it. So you kind of come to the edge of the chair a little bit, practice loading through the heels, and rock forward onto your heels. You're not standing, but you are kind of lifting your toes up and rocking forward on your heels. That's starting to get that process going where you're getting familiar with, okay, this is the setup that I need to do to eventually be able to, once my strength is there, stand up safely and soundly. So that's a big piece of what we do with balance training for sitting to stand transfers here at PT. Now, once we've gotten you to the point where you have that strength, you have that confidence, you know what the form is that you need to do, now we send you over to Leo and folks to start continuing to build that strength so that not only is your sit to stand transfer going to be good, you're good with everything else. They take what we start and they finish it. So the partnership with the exercise coach is massively beneficial. We get you to the point where you can start moving around like normal or like you would like to, and they turn you into a superstar. It's an awesome partnership. Other little things, basic stuff for strength building, and then that'll be it for this evening. And so really simple stuff that really kind of helps if you feel like you are, even if you're at your desk at work, if you're still ambulatory. I do this all the time at work here. We're just doing some marches. March with me. Real simple. I want you to suck in your abdomen, a nice tight core.
On our heels?
Yes, absolutely. Great question. So we're just marching. You're going to start feeling your hip flexors starting to fire. You're really keeping that core and that posture. This is a great way to control posture and just to see the position. If you've been sitting at your desk at work or whatever all day long, and you're like, dang, I am tired. My body hurts. Do this for a little while. See if you don't get some blood pumping. Awesome exercise. Now, awesome job, guys. So if you haven't built the strength up so you can do those sit to stands and you're still working on that strength, this is a great place to start. It's achievable, even if you can only get this far. I got patients that this is a win. Getting your feet up 2 feet or 2 inches off the ground, that's a win. I'll take that win all day long. That means that we have gotten 2 inches closer to the finish line, right? So it doesn't matter where you are in the process. It matters that you're doing it. It matters that we're finding what works for you, where you can find some success. That's what's important. Other pieces that you can do, simple stuff, your leg extensions. Now, we can make this a little bit harder if you have ankle weights. You can do these D extensions here. Great way to get blood pumping. Great way to start to get some quad strength. These big quads that we need to stand up. Really simple. You can do ankle pumps where you're doing these guys here.
And how about your posture? Where's your head supposed to be?
Back and up. Why is mine crappy?
I just asked.
I bet you it was. I bet you it was. I told you guys I struggle with it too. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not.
That's all. No, even reminding you.
I love it. Thank you, Kathy. 100%. No, absolutely. So, yes, absolutely. So those same things I was talking about with posture. We want that. Find your chicken head. There you go. You're here. Get your arms back. You can still tuck your tail when you're sitting down. It feels a little bit weird. You can tuck it, and there you go. Now we're doing our leg extensions. Get you. You like that one, don't you? All right, you guys. If anything didn't make sense, you come see me afterwards. If you have questions about what we or the exercise coach offers, holler at us. By all means, eat, drink, be merry. Yes, Zach?
I don't know if you covered this, but like talking about like toe drag with like fall prevention. I know we talked about it with the knee clinic, like doing the tibialis raises.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Zach. This is a great one. So, mine's bad. I have poor dorsiflexion. Some people do. I don't have a lot of range of motion. But even still, these guys here. So if you have knee pain, this is a wonderful exercise. But also, these muscles here, your anterior tibialis, unsung hero for knee pain and overall strength. And if you have that foot drag where your toes kind of dragging, this muscle is what makes your foot go up, right? Your toes go up and clear the ground when you're walking. So what you do, you come to the wall here, come out just a little bit like that, and you just lift them up off the ground. Lift them up off the ground. Not a lot of range of motion. Do 20 of these and see if your legs are absolutely on fire. So, thank you, Zach. Such a great workout. This is something that you can do at home. You can do hanging out at work. You can do it at any point in time. If you're on a road trip, you stop in whatever, Vail, side of the road, do some of these on the side of your car. Again, people will think you're a lunatic, but get blood pumping. Absolutely. Awesome workout. If you have knee pain, incredible exercise.
What about for plantar fasciitis?
For this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Anybody ever had plantar fasciitis in here?
No, it's killing me.
It's pretty awful, yes? Yeah, absolutely. No, excellent exercise. Absolutely. We forget that this is even here. Sometimes people are like, wait, what? That's a muscle? Yeah, you bet it is. Huge. Talk to us afterwards about that plantar fasciitis. We'll talk more about that. That one sucks. This is great for that kind of stuff. If you have tendon, you have soft tissue issues that are chronic and really just won't go away.
Is it true that the fascia goes right up over your shoulders and through your neck?
Like the cross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Chrissy, you want to talk about that a little bit? So with plantar fasciitis, so we have almost like a cross throughout our body.
Yes, I read that the other day.
Yeah, and so it depends, right? And so yes, there is. So for example, if you're having pain here in your trap, your right trap, oftentimes we'll find that there is a corollary injury here or mechanism of injury on the cross section there. Absolutely. Is it 100% of the time? Not necessarily, as I understand it. But that's a piece of more, I mean, like, what do you know about that cross section?
Well, I mean, there's this philosopher Yonda who worked with Socrates, Plato. He came up with the crossover effect. We've known about the crossover effect all these years. There is certain muscles that complement other muscles. So if one muscle's off, the complementary system's off. Then you also have to think of, like, I call it the sweater theory. You knit one sweater, you knit a sweater with one piece of yarn. You can have a stitch up here in the left shoulder, but that bottom right-hand corner can be affected. It's all, everything's connected, it's fascia. So you have to go in and, like, as a PT, I go in and look at the whole body. Like, okay, Bella, you know, I'm looking at her hip, but is it her big toe that's not moving enough? You get the big toe to move, you get rid of the plantar fasciitis, and then you also then can strengthen the hips. So there's a lot of different theories the crossover theory, X, Yonda believes, here, I'll do one thing here. Stand to the side, please. If you're tight here, tight in my pecs, I'm taking out my lower trap. Then I can't get that down and back of my scapula, my shoulder blade. You loosen your pec, now his lower trap can fire. So there's so many little idiosyncrasies of the body. It's quite complex. It's really quite fascinating. I mean, every day I'm like, whoa, I learned something new. And I've been doing this a while. But like there is that crossover, there are X's, and I have to look at those to say what's tight, what's strengthened, what's weakened because it's lengthened. There's just a lot to it. So everybody's unique, everybody's different, but you have to look at you, like, are you just not, swiveling your hip? Is it not going in your transverse plane? And then you can get neck pain. So there's a lot to it. So yeah.
All right, guys, unless there's any